Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. Back again for a news episode. Lots to cover off today. But before we get into it, just wanted to quickly remind you to keep a lookout on my channel recently of trying to up the content, shorts and stories and funny anecdotes from the past. Make sure you guys are checking out all the other content on my channel and supporting the channel. Thank you very much. But now let's get into the news for today. Let's go. So the last few days have actually been quite busy when it comes to this whole summer until now has been absolutely crazy. But there's been more outgoing news as well now. It's not only just about incomings. We know that, we've done most of our business coming in. Now we need to sort the going out part. And for that, the confirmation that Arturo Vidal's contract has been rescinded, has been finished. His time at Inter is over. Inter posted an official statement on the website and of course a goodbye video for Vidal, which of course me as a Arturo Vidal fan I enjoyed, and I also saw lots of not Arturo Vidal fans for sure, people that pretty much hate him being happy that he leaves the club. But to me, as you guys know, if you've been following me, he's a player that I've always liked, and I was happy that he played for my club. I know that he wasn't as good as he should have been at all, but I don't also think he was as bad as some people like to make out. But of course he had to go because his salary was too much. Around 4 million euros his payoff was net. I think in the end they agreed for something a little bit less that accounted for around 5 million euros in total gross payoff. So a nice little chunk for him. But yeah, goodbye Arturo Vidal, Il King Arturo. Gonna miss the Mohawk. Flamengo fans in Brazil will enjoy him now. So good luck to Arturo Vidal. Moving on, today actually was quite an interesting day because Inter were presenting their new shirt officially in the center of Milan. They had a whole event and setup happening with some of the players. Lukaku was present, Onana, Handanovic, Correa, Barella was there, some of the directors, Inzaghi was there. And the most interesting parts were relating to Lukaku, of course, the boy who just came back to us this last couple of weeks. And they asked him in one moment, like, what was what is your biggest sporting challenge? And he said, this Inter experience now is my biggest sporting challenge. And there was a funny little exchange there after they asked him that. He said, right now, I left and I didn't do so well. He said I did bad, which is referring to his Chelsea time. And then he turns around, looks towards Barella. He says, right, Nico? And then Barella does that shrug that you do to your friends, like, I told you, bro. I told you. You didn't listen to me. I told you not to go to London. So yeah, and you can see Lautaro next to them laughing as well. So yeah, really a little funny exchange. And it shows that, these conversations have been had in the locker room. The other day, D'Ambrosio even alluded to the fact that, they welcome Rom into the dressing room once again, but there were some things needed to be said, like, he wanted to come back really badly, but he also, there was some clarification needed between, how Lukaku just left these guys last season and now he came back. So clearly those conversations have been had. There doesn't seem to be any bad blood, and yeah, we can move forward. And Lukaku was actually speaking very positively, saying that, I want to take this next step. I want to thank Inter for giving me the opportunity to play a higher level in my career. I'm really happy to wear this jersey. We hope to continue to grow like this in the past years. We have to continue like this if we want to reach the goal, which is obviously the Scudetto. And he was actually, at one point they went out on a balcony facing the fans, greeting the fans, and Lukaku was the one leading the chants, anti-Milan chants, Kino salta rosso nero, This guy, that's what I mean. This guy is very charismatic. He knows what to say. He knows he likes to be on the mic. He likes to be center of attention. That's why that Sky Italia interview when he was at Chelsea was just so baffling and confusing to me, because this guy knows how to talk in public, how to say the right things to get to the fans' hearts, So it was really confusing, all the stuff that happened at Chelsea. But anyway, we're enjoying him right now. The fans seem to love him once again. And actually, there was another bit where they asked him about if you guys must have seen today on social media, Instagram, Twitter, where they posted the training was ending. Clearly, all the players are tired on the floor, and Lukaku just jumps on Lautaro, gives him a massive hug. You can see Inzaghi's looking over them, trying to, I don't know if he wants to join in or he's like, saying like, yo, what you man doing? But yeah, he said, I needed some love this morning when it comes to that Lautaro hug. It's also right for people to see that our team is really united, and we know, especially when it comes to these two, that they definitely are united. There were also some interesting chants by Inter fans who were attending. Of course, there was a chant against Milan, but there was also chants for Skriniar, like Skriniar, please stay. Skriniar resta con noi. There was also some Dybala chants. They were telling Marotta, portaci Dybala, bring us Dybala. So interesting chants, and that leads me on to the next part that I want to talk about, which is, of course, Skriniar. I've put it in the title. Can Skriniar actually remain at Inter? And the answer is yes, he can. There is a possibility of Skriniar remaining at Inter, and Bremer coming in. And I've said from the beginning, some people are framing this as Suning are trying to sell Skriniar, and I've always said from the beginning, even from last season, it's not. But they haven't picked a certain player to sell. It's literally who comes with the right offer for a certain player. And right at the moment, it's PSG are the ones that are coming in strong for Skriniar, so that's why he's the chosen one right now. But as reported here from sempreinter.com, Inter are trying to find a way to keep Skriniar, and by Bremer it is possible. It's just going to be very difficult. As Corriere dello Sport here says, the club are wondering if they could postpone the sale of a major player until the January window or even summer 2023, because we know, as we found out the last couple of days, or last week it was in the press conference, the actual plus 60 million net transfer that Inter need to make is not for this summer window. It's actually by June 2023, which I've said in my previous videos already. It makes a little bit of a difference, but it doesn't make too much difference because, who are you gonna how are you gonna actually sell? You can't actually sell good players in January. Like, what are we gonna just sell Dumfries in the middle of January, and then what? Who's gonna be a right wing back? You can just sell Hakan in the January. Like, who's you going to sell in January? So then it gets to June 2023, and June, you only got that few weeks after our season ends to actually make that sale. Everyone knows that you need to sell. You're going to be desperate, and you're probably going to have to sell someone for a cut price. But if they can delay that, if there is that little leeway, if they can maybe try to make that money elsewhere, try to make some more money in the Champions League. See if some of the other players start to perform a bit more, and you can sell them for a bit more. Some of the youth players, other ways. You got to find other ways, and Inter are trying their best to do this. But at the same time, PSG looks like they're pushing for Skriniar, even though they're not getting close to the 70 million. But Presnel Kimpembe to Chelsea looks like it's on the cards at the moment. They're getting Koulibaly, but apparently they're strongly interested in Kimpembe, the left-footed centre-back from Chelsea, from PSG, which I really like, actually. If we sold Bastoni, he would be one of the first names I would want. But if they sell Kimpembe, then they're going to come for Skriniar even stronger, and they probably will get to that 70 million euros mark, which is my fear. So, yeah. As I've been saying since the beginning, since these negotiations started, my feeling is quite bad with Skriniar. I'm usually super positive. I always, but last year I thought Lukaku was going to stay and he didn't. This time around, my feeling is that at the moment, I still think that Skriniar in the end was going to end up going to PSG. But of course, I hope he doesn't. So we need to hope that this Kimpembe sale doesn't go through and that PSG go to someone else, and that Suning, are convinced by Marotta, Ozilius, but the leaders, the directors, to kind of just delay this and see, can we do something in January, or can we have to just make that desperate sale in June 2023? So that option is still there. And Bremer isn't related to Skriniar. I keep saying that Bremer isn't related to Skriniar. They want to bring in Bremer regardless, because it's still, as Inzaghi said in the pre-season conference, the first one, he said, we're missing a guy. Ranocchia is gone. The central back is needed at the moment. That still is De Vrij. And De Vrij, again, if an offer comes in for De Vrij, an offer comes in for someone else, we managed to finally sell Pinamonti, some of the other players that we need to sell, Lazaro, the money from Zaniolo. If Zaniolo goes to Juventus, we still have that 15% clause in that contract that we get, this the sell-on clause. So there is potentially money that we can make in the meanwhile. But at the moment, De Vrij doesn't seem to be getting any offers. But there's still a long time left in this Mercato, guys. I keep saying teams will get desperate. Teams will come in for, all the guys that we're looking to potentially sell, even Dzeko, Correa, because as the market comes to an end, teams start to get more desperate. Speaking of Bremer, it seems like we've finally actually make steps, because the rumors have been going on for ages for Bremer. We've got this gentleman's agreement with him, with his agent. He's got a gentleman's agreement with Torino. But actually we have a personal terms agreed with him, but we actually didn't actually make a formal offer to Torino up until last few days, where we actually sat down with Torino and their agents, intermediaries, as Gazzetta dello Sport says here. Torino actually are not in a rush to sell him. This is because the promise that made to the Brazilian was that if an adequate offer comes in from a team in the Champions League, then it will be accepted and the club will not stand in the way. Inter have not matched the 40 million valuation that Cairo has set on the player. Obviously, their coach, Ivan Juric, wants to know the outcome. So yeah, we know that Bremer wants Inter. He wants Inter really badly. But Cairo is a very difficult president to deal with. We know from his Belotti saga, the guy wanted 100 million for Belotti and ended up with nothing. So serves him right. So I think he's learned from that, and now he's kind of trying to push the boat to get as much money as possible for Bremer, which you can't blame him. But the comparison he made the other day was absolutely stupid. He tried to compare it with Skriniar. He was saying, if I'm hearing 60-70 million for Skriniar, that means that, why am I only hearing 30 million for Bremer? Bro, Skriniar, proven at Champions League level, Scudetto winner, proven at international level, multiple years. Bremer only won first real world-class season, not even capped for Brazil, not even played Champions League. And he's got a clause in his contract for this upcoming January for 15 million. So that's why there's that big price difference. So sit down, bro. And I think this deal will be done for around 30 million euros. Apparently they're interested in Casadei. Inter trying to just loan him. They're trying to buy him. Maybe it will be a buyback clause. We shall see what happens with that. But I think the Bremer deal will be done because Bremer wants Inter. Inter want Bremer. And I think the marriage will happen. Going back to another player that might be leaving, there's been plenty of rumors around Pinamonti. Even PSG at one point were rumored. But one of the teams that have been in for him from the beginning of this window, alongside Atalanta, is Monza. Monza, the new upcomers from Serie B, owned by Berlusconi. And the rumors are that they are getting closer to that 20 million euro valuation that Inter have set on him. Apparently, it's going to be a loan deal, probably with an obligation or something like that. But Inter apparently are keen to put in a buyback clause for 30 million euros, which is interesting. So it seems Inter still want to retain some sort of control of his future. But at a 30 million euro clause, I really don't see Inter actually pulling that off. But I guess they just want to see, just in case he actually explodes and blows up to the next level, that they can take advantage of that. But hopefully that deal goes through, because it looks like Pinamonti was unsure I think he was probably more keen on Atalanta than Monza. But at the same time, he's pretty much going to be guaranteed the starting spot at Monza, being the main man. Whereas at Atalanta, you got Muriel, you got Zapata, and all the Gasperini's rotation is crazy. He doesn't really have certain starters. So Monza is probably the right deal for him if he wants to play on a regular basis. Going back to one of the chants that we were talking about earlier around Paulo Dybala, of course, a lot of you guys are always in my comments asking about what's happening with Dybala. And Javier Zanetti, our vice president, spoke on him today, actually, speaking to Argentinian television. And he said pretty much what Inzaghi and Marotta said, is that Inter at the moment have a lot of forwards. We're good as we are, but things can change. I think once again he's doing he's saying the right thing. in public. He's not going to say, no, we're looking to get Dybala and we're going to kick out Alexis Sanchez and Correa or Dzeko. Yeah, he just basically repeats what Marotta says. Dybala is always an opportunity for us because he is a free agent. But today, Inter have Lautaro, Lukaku, Correa, Dzeko, and Sanchez. And he said, obviously, things can change. We started preseason with these players, but that doesn't mean that things can't change. Right now, we are fine like this. And yeah, that's what I keep saying as well to you guys. Like, I would love for Dybala to come in. I would love it because he is one of my favorite players in world football. But at the same time, Lukaku, Lautaro, and if Alexis leaves, still Dzeko and Correa, like that is still a very, very good front four to have. Like, that is absolutely crazy. Remember on the Conte, we only had Lukaku, Lautaro, and then it was bloody Pinamonti and Sanchez, and that was it. At the moment, he is on standby, Dybala. He still hasn't got a concrete offer on the table apart from Inter. There's rumors of Roma and Napoli, but Napoli, they could afford his wages potentially, but they have very strict image rights regulations in their club. I think De Laurentiis, the president, usually wants to take 100% of image rights, and a player like Dybala has quite hefty image rights, and that probably wouldn't go down well. Roma, I think they're seeing what also happens with Zaniolo first. Yeah, so I think Dybala is still waiting for Inter, and he has to wait for Sanchez and one of Dzeko or Correa to leave. Speaking of Alexis Sanchez, there's some movement. We saw training pictures the last couple of days. He's come back. Hakan came back, Barella, all the big boys have come back now. The team is back at full. But speaking on Alexis Sanchez, Inter now have spoken to his agent. Apparently, they have offered him the severance package similar to what they offered to his compatriot Arturo Vidal. And Sanchez is, we're seeing conflicting reports on this. So here, Corriere dello Sport says the Chilean is trying to find somewhere new in Europe where he can continue to play competitive football at a high level, because apparently he has rejected offers from clubs that he deems to be lower level, lower tier, lower leagues as well. Like, apparently like Saudi offers or American offers. He's rejected every type of those offers. He has been offered 4 million net to terminate his current contract by Inter. The former Arsenal-Barcelona player would rather find a new club first, but he could accept the termination if it were for 5 million instead. So there's maybe a 1 or 2 million difference between what could convince him. Inter coach Inzaghi is clear. He thinks 4 forwards are enough for next season, but some feel that is a gamble given the age of Dzeko and the patchy form that Correa showed last season. Which is true. But at the same time, given Inter's financial situation, we can't probably afford to have 5 big-ass strikers, hefty wage strikers up front. So let's see what happens with Sanchez. Again, even if Sanchez stays, guys, I still like people treating this guy like he's a bum. Still, a real high-quality player. His numbers show it, even though he hardly played for Inter compared to, what he probably expects. But his numbers in terms of goals and assists per minute is very good. But I hope he does accept this severance package and find himself the right club. And the final news, actually should have finished on a positive note, but I'm actually finishing on a very negative note. And this is Dalberto Carlos, man. This guy, we thought that this guy was going to be one of the guys where we can get at least, a couple of million, 2 or 3 million at least, just to get rid of this guy. Cagliari didn't take the option to buy him because obviously they got relegated. But today, unfortunately, he actually ruptured his anterior cruciate ligament. So he had an ACL injury whilst training by himself in Brazil, because at the moment he wasn't even with the squad at Inter. He hasn't been called up to the pre-season. I'm not sure whether he was going to be called up later on or he literally wasn't called up because Inter just told him to find a new club. But he's going to have to go out in surgery, and ACL, he's out for the season, and now basically no one is going to buy him, and he's going to cost us 8.1 million euros in total this season, because if you take into account amortized value in Inter's books, 5.8 million, gross salary at 2 million, that adds up to 8.1 million. And we're not going to make any money out of this guy, but at least his contract is expiring at the end of this season. I mean, I feel sorry for him because, I don't wish injuries on anyone. But the timing of this is just awful for Inter. Because, we would have wanted to get rid of his wages and of here get some money from him, but we can't do either now. I doubt it that he's going to cancel his or agree to cancel his contract. I mean, that would be the gentlemanly thing to do, you know, if Inter offer him some sort of severance package where we pay him a little bit, and you know, so at least we don't take that loss on the books in terms of his amortized value. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Sorry for him. And now, yeah, Alberto Carlos, the gift that keeps on giving. But yeah, sorry to end that on a bad note, guys. Hope you enjoyed that news section today. Lukaku, Bremer, Skriniar, Hope, Pinamonti, Alexis, Vidal. We spoke about a lot. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Skriniar is going to stay? And do you think Bremer will come? Do you think Bremer is going to come or Skriniar stay? Let me know which way around you think things are going to happen. Do you want Sanchez to leave? Do you want him to stay? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Ciao ragazzi, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member if you want to support the channel. I never promote this, but it does help, guys. £3 a month costs a coffee a month if you want to support the channel, if you enjoy what I do. But of course, I appreciate your support regardless. Ciao ragazzi, and always, Forza Inter.